I would, if I was playing in that orchestra, I would have been like, what the fuck is this? Like, drop it on the floor.
Yeah, move on.
That's not the next page of this Verdi opera.
We have rehearsed. I know what's coming next.
You know what I'm not going to do on opening night of an opera? Play something I've never rehearsed.
5, 6, 7, 8.
There's no business like show business.
Mamma mia, here I go again. My
Of the music
We're dropping some big knowledge on you right from the get-go on this episode.
I just, told Anna that for Begone Thought is acronym for That Hoe Over There, which I did not know until a few weeks ago.
No! I was today years old when I learned that.
I also found out what, a snafu is an acronym for, Situation Normal, All Fucked Up.
No. Because the thing is, I knew what snafu was used to describe.
Yeah.
But I never knew it was an acronym. Situation Normal,
All
fucked
fucked
up.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes total sense.
Absolutely. It's a military slang term.
No, it's fucking not, is it?
It's on Wikipedia as a list of military slang terms.
The military? Alright. What a weird note to begin this episode on. Welcome!
Hi!
If you're joining us for the first time, you're probably wondering what you got yourself into. Welcome. This is 5678, a movie musical podcast where I can't think of the word. What is it? Recap.
That's the
recap
one.
And review.
Anna's had a very long day, y'all. It's okay.
Anna's had a very long day. I'm going to cut all this.
No, we're not.
This is 5678, the movie musical podcast where we review and recap movie musicals from the 1930s up to today. And we are your chaotic co-hosts. I'm Anna.
I'm Grace.
And this week's episode is the 1935 Marx Brothers musical comedy, A Night at the Opera.
Yes. This is like one of their most famous movies, that and along with Duck Soup. And I had never seen a Marx Brother movie.
Same.
Yeah.
I'm a bad actor. I'm a bad film person for never having
Bad
seen a
film
Marx Brothers
history.
movie.
Yeah, we'll talk about how we felt about it after we go through it.
I mean, I'll say right now, I enjoyed it. The comedy was so fast-paced that it was a pain in the arse to take notes.
Yes, completely agree. And I found that, all of the physical comedy was funny and good. All of it, 100%. Great job. The actual comedy, the spoken comedy, I was about 50-50 with. Where some of it just kind of felt mean, and some of it was genuinely very funny. And I think that's just, different, centuries.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of things that, were probably very funny and very acceptable then that I was just like, ooh.
Ooh, yike.
But it didn't color the whole picture.
No.
It would be one thing if, the themes and the plot and just what the whole thing was so painfully outdated. And, there are many movies like that.
Showboat.
And, it took me a solid, 20 minutes of this film to be like, it's the fucking guy from Showboat.
Is it?
Yeah, it is!
Fuck off, it's not! I didn't know!
Yeah, it is! Yeah, it is!
I focused only on the Marx Brothers, so I didn't look at any of the other actors, because they were, the big names.
Oh, yeah. Our romantic male lead is the same, because he started singing, and I was like,
yeah.
Is it? It is. I looked it up. I thought I was losing my mind.
So good at this game.
Yeah.
I did a lot of money looking up, because there's a lot of conversations about money. I have so much, and I have a hot and spicy comment to make when we get to it.
There was one note early on where I was like, oh, Grace is going to have to do money math. And then I stopped doing it.
And then there was one moment where I wrote in all caps, Anna, is this good harp? And we'll get there.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about the harping. Oh my god. All right.
Okay.
Let's dive into this. We are in black and white.
Yes, we are. So, and we just dive right in. There is no sort of preamble setup. It's just starting with the plot immediately. So this lady's sitting alone at her dinner table.
At a very fancy restaurant.
And whoever was supposed to meet her is obviously late. So she grabs a passing page boy and asks him to page a Mr. Otis P. Driftwood.
I wasn't sure if this busboy, if he was doing what he was asked or not, because she seemed annoyed by it. Essentially what this busboy does is just goes around the restaurant yelling, Mr. Otis P. me, Driftwood! And I don't know whether he was supposed to do that or not, because it doesn't make any sense. But turns out, Mr. Driftwood is sitting directly behind this lady.
Yes.
And he tells the busboy, he's like, stop shouting my name, I'm right here. And the lady understandably gets mad at him, and he does not apologize.
Nope.
This is one of our Marx brothers. This
Yes.
is Groucho.
Yes, it is.
In the characteristic, like,
That mustache.
that painted-on mustache.
Oh boy.
There's, like, some snotty back and forth. He's like, well, when I invite a woman to dine with me, I expect her to look at my face, because she wasn't looking at him, because her back was to him. Yada,
Yeah,
yada.
because he was sitting at a different table with a different lady. It's
Different
just...
woman. Very early on in this movie, I was like, I'm gonna need subtitles.
Yes. This is available, by the way, dear listener, on Amazon for rent. For
Yes,
like
for $2.99.
$2, $2.99, $3. So the waiter comes and gives Otis his check from his dinner with the other lady. And there is a genuinely funny moment where he looks at it and he is like, this price? This is ridiculous! And then turns to the blonde, hands her the check, and is like, if I were you, I wouldn't pay this, and then just leaves. And thus begins the theme of him never paying any money.
Never paying a bill.
Ever.
This is Mr. Otis P. Driftwood. He sits, I just call him Driftwood for the rest of the film.
Oh, I called him Otis.
Oh no. He sits down with this fancy lady.
Lady
We learn that her
Claypool.
name is Miss Claypool. And they have an agreement. He was supposed to introduce her into society, but she says he's scamming her. He hasn't actually done that. He's just kind of taken her money. I love these old movie voices.
How the elephant got in my pajamas, I shall never know. Like,
Yeah.
whole thing.
I could never tell. He, like, makes several implications of, oh, he's romantically interested in her, but, like, never actually pursues
I don't
it.
think he is. I think he just flirts with her because it's the only thing that keeps her from firing him immediately.
Yeah, like, she's a rich old widow and he wants her money.
Yes.
He's like, all right, fine, we'll talk business. And
Every time I'm romantic with you, you bring up business. And I bring out the business in every woman. And I did laugh out loud.
Otis Driftwood points to a man on the other side of the restaurant eating a curtain
Who
of
has
spaghetti.
never seen spaghetti before in his life. Did not know how to attack this.
He points him out. He goes, that's Herman Gottlieb. He's the director of the New York Opera Company. And Otis has arranged for Mrs. Claypool to donate $200,000 to the company, and poof, she's a member of society as a result. Grace, math.
$200,000 is a
In
little
1935.
over $4 million today.
Holy frick. Really?
Yes. So...
Because she's so cavalier about it.
Yes. She does say later that
Oh, that's true.
she has $8 million, which I did
So
not do
how
the math
much?
on.
Oh,
Hold on.
look at it really quickly. You
Sorry, I just made a face that, like, was very alarming. $160 million today. So she has $160 million, and she decided to give 4 of that to this opera company, which is a good amount.
So this lady's very rich.
Yes.
Mr. Gottlieb sees Otis pointing at him. They know each other. He comes over. There's a bit of introduction. Gottlieb says he's so grateful for Miss Claypool's money, and with that money, he's signed a big opera star for his company with her generous donation, and this opera star is Mr. Rodolfo Laspari.
I don't know if you noticed, but during this whole scene in the background, the girl that Otis was
first
dining
date,
with,
the blonde,
the first date was just,
stares
like,
the
rapt
entire time.
attention. Just, like,
Yeah.
could not stop staring. It was great.
We need to, there's so many characters, we need to physically describe them.
Yeah.
Mrs. Claypool is an older woman. She's probably in her 40s.
50s.
Rich white widow.
Yeah.
Lots of jewelry. Gottlieb is a tall, bearded, rather rotund German gentleman.
Yes.
Very finely dressed. And he invites them, Driftwood and Claypool, to come see the opera tonight at his box, but only Miss Claypool goes.
Yes. Otis says he'll catch
'cause-
up with them later.
Yeah. And they're gonna go see Rodolfo is performing.
Cut to the opera house.
Question, where does this take place right now? Where are we right
Italy.
now? They all have American accents.
Yes, they do.
Gottlieb is German.
Yes. They're in Italy. The only reason I know this is because there was a cut and now lost bit at the beginning of this, which talked about them being in Italy, which was cut because of World War II.
Yes, okay, I did read that bit of dramaturgy. I just didn't make the connection. Because when they got to America, I was like, wait,
Where
I thought you were in
were
America
they?
the whole time. Because no, I guess that makes sense because, like, Fiorello has an Italian accent. Whatever. And
Italian accent.
Rodolfo.
Let's be
yeah.
clear that whatever
All right.
Fiorello has is not an Italian
Yeah,
accent.
let's be clear. Any accent that any actor has in this movie is debatable. Cut to the opera that night. We are backstage in a dressing room, and we see a man in a, like, old-timey clown suit. It is one of the Marx brothers. This is Harpo?
I think so.
The
one
he
who
makes
doesn't
no
speak.
noise. Yeah.
Yep.
He's like in front of the mirror, and he like keeps trying to sing but can't do it, and he's clearly like physical comedy is where this man lives.
Yes, and it absolutely
just
is.
then,
a fancy man.
Very fancy Italian opera singer,
Rhett Butler looking motherfucker.
yeah, truly, comes into the dressing room. This is Rodolfo, our fantastic tenor, and he yells at this mystery Marx brother. He's like, "Get out of my costume! What are you doing?"
Yes.
And he rips the costume off of him and reveals he is wearing another costume and then another costume. We learn that this mystery Marx brother is Rodolfo's dresser.
Tommaso.
This is Tommaso. Rodolfo whips him with a whip prop, fires him, and tosses him out into the hall.
It was a lot. He chases him, he hits him with a cane, he, like, whips him. I'm like,
Very
where are
violent.
you getting this?
Listen, Rodolfo's a bad dude.
He's not a great one. So he throws Tommaso out of his dressing room, fires him, and right there outside of the dressing room is this lovely, pretty lady with poofy sleeves called Rosa. And she is the soprano.
Oh, she's also in a costume.
She's in a costume.
She's in poofy sleeves because
Fair
she
enough,
is
fair enough.
also in costume for this opera.
So she obviously, like, had heard him being whipped and saw him being thrown out, and she tells him, you know, oh, you're well rid of him, so you know, don't worry about it, you'll be okay. And Rodolfo comes back out and is very sweet to Rosa and pulls Tommaso back into the dressing room, and as she walks away, we hear him hitting him again with a cane. It's not great,
Yeah,
y'all.
Rodolfo's like, "Oh, Tommaso, there you've been," and is like all friendly with him. And then as soon as he closes the door, it's just like beats him. Rosa goes into her dressing room, which is just across the hall. Her dresser is there and shows her that a bouquet of flowers that were sent by Rodolfo.
Yep.
It's a corsage, and she goes like, "I wouldn't wear them if they were the only flowers in the world." Just then, another man comes in.
Handsome man.
This is Ricardo. I just called him Ricky the
Yeah.
whole time.
Yep, fair. Good.
Uh,
So did I.
Cool.
Ricardo was really long, and it was too close to
And
Rodolfo.
there's already a Rodolfo.
He tells her that it's the last night of the show and that he's in love with her. And she's like, well, I can't think about that now because we have to go put on an opera. And he was like, well, you have to put on an opera. I'm just a chorus guy. I'm in the background.
She's one of the main singers in it. He's like, "I'm a glorified chorus man, but I love you." They clearly have feelings for each other. It's not
Yes.
one-sided. He wants to know what she's doing afterwards if Rodolfo hasn't asked her first. Like, he is aware of Rodolfo's
Yes.
pursuit of Rosa.
And she says, you know, he did ask me first, but I'm still going to go to dinner with you.
Cut to downstairs. A third Marx brother comes into the theater, greets the stage manager, asks for his mail. The stage manager's like, "You don't work here."
But he obviously
he's like,
knows
"Well, yeah."
everyone. Like, everyone knows
Yeah.
him. It's not like he's just a random stranger.
Yeah, and his name is Fiorello. He is
Yeah.
our third Marx brother character, and he knows Tommaso. Tommaso waves at him, he comes down the stairs to hug him, and oh gosh, the show is happening, so they have to be quiet. Fiorello looks for Ricky, Rosa's love interest, backstage. They reunite. They've known each other a long time.
They went to school together.
Fiorello says that, like, Ricky could be where Laspari is in terms of career. Like, Ricky has the talent. He just needs a manager. And Fiorello's like, "You know what? I can be your manager."
Yeah. And
Ricky's
Ricardo's-
like, "Okay."
Yeah, he's like, you're not going to make any money. And he's like, as long as I don't lose money, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
So the opera ends. Right as it does, Otis appears in the opera box with Lady Claypool and Gottlieb. And he purposefully arrived late so that he wouldn't have
Yeah,
to
he didn't want to see the
watch
opera.
Claypool and Gottlieb agree that they have to have Rodolfo for the next season, and they are going to offer $1,000 a night. That is about $20,000 a night.
Okay.
Per performance, they're gonna pay this fucker $20,000.
Claypool and Gottlieb are agreeing to this because it's Claypool's money, and
Yeah.
Otis is like, "How I
I should be in
I
on
get some
this."
of this." because I represent Claypool. And I'm like, that's not how opera agents work.
Gottlieb sends his butler, I don't know, with his business card to give to Laspari, saying basically that they want to meet backstage.
But Tommaso somehow gets it.
Yes.
Tommaso delivers that business card to Laspari, and it's Gottlieb's note saying, like, what does it say? It's like,
I want to meet you.
I want to talk.
The notes in this movie are sparse at best.
Laspari's like all puffed up because Gottlieb's a big person and he's like has a feeling he knows what the offer's gonna be, and he puffed chest walks over to Rosa and he's like, you can come have dinner with me and Gottlieb, and she's like, I got plans. And he tries to get her to go because like he's like, it's a job offer and like maybe Gottlieb will do something for you, and she still says no.
She does have a moment where she's just like, oh man, career, but then she's like, nah, I have a private engagement. And so she takes off with Ricky, and Ricky has this smirk on his face, which is very delicious.
Laspari takes his frustration out on being rejected on Tommaso and just starts to wail on him. Driftwood, Otis, sees this, tells him to stop. While Otis has distracted Laspari, Tommaso bonks Laspari on the head with a hammer and knocks him out.
This happens like 8 times.
This is a recurring bit, just various things being bonked on people's heads. And Tommaso, like, revives Laspari with smelling salts and then immediately bonks him on the head again and runs off.
So silly.
So Otis stands over the prone Laspari and, like, puts his foot on him, kind of like Columbus claiming America.
Or, like, the old-timey people who would shoot animals and, like, put their foot on top of the animal that they just slew.
Oh, yeah. See, I was thinking of, like, I claim this land for England.
That too.
But that works, too. Fiorello comes up, also puts his foot on the prone Laspari.
That was really funny. He comes up and he's like, oh, is there room on this? He's like, yeah, absolutely, room for everyone. Like, scooches over so they can both put their foot up. Very funny.
Now, key plot point, Otis doesn't know who this prone person on the floor is, because Otis didn't see the opera. He doesn't know that he's putting his foot on Laspari.
Right. There's a bit of banter between them, but Otis ends up saying that he's looking to sign the best tenor in the world because he's trying to get some money on this $1,000 a night deal. And Fiorello says, oh, well, as it happens, I am the manager of the best tenor in the world. So they do some pricing, and this is where my spicy take comes in. It starts with $1,000 a night, and so they say, how much will go to the singer? It's like, oh, $10, but I get 10% of that. And then Fiorello's like, well, I get 10% of that. And $5 goes to his mom. So he would get $3 per day. So this is the math. $3 is about $60 a day now. $60 a day, if you work for 8 hours, is $7.50 an hour, which is higher than our current national minimum wage.
Not in every state.
Not in every state, but the national one, yeah. And that's my spicy take of 1935 finding that ridiculous. So, anyway.
Yeah. Otis gives Fiorello the contract to sign. Fiorello doesn't know how to read. And Otis, the print is so fine on this contract that he can't read it either. So Otis reads section by section the contract to Fiorello, and there's a recurring bit of Fiorello saying, I'm not sure I agree with that, and Otis just ripping that clause out of the contract until there's literally like
a strip of paper
an eighth of what the contract was, not even like a tenth.
Yeah.
And then Otis, he's like, all right, well, we can sign on the dotted line with what's left, and Fiorello doesn't know how to write, and
the
also
pen doesn't have any
ink. Has no ink in it, so they were just like, you know what, it's a verbal agreement.
They just shake hands. This is when Gottlieb enters.
Gottlieb and Claypool come around the corner. They discover Laspari on the floor. They're like, oh my gosh, Mr. Laspari. And Otis is like, wait, who the fuck did I just sign?
Right.
If this is Laspari.
And Fiorello is like, oh, it's Riccardo Baltini? Butlerini?
Baroni.
That's
like
the
a
one.
baron with an
Butlerini.
I.
What the fuck?
I didn't even clock that's what you said. What kind of pasta shape is Butlerini?
I don't know, but it sounds delicious. Anyway, Gottlieb tries to wake up Laspari, but right as he does, again, recurring gag, Tommaso does, like, the whole releasing a rope and a sandbag that's perfectly placed, falls and bonks him on the head.
Man, this man would be so dead.
Man, so many concussions.
I realized we didn't describe Fiorello. Fiorello is a medium-height white guy with a very thick, debatably Italian accent.
Mario accent is what I would call it.
Yeah. And that's his only really, like, defining characteristic. Like, Tommaso is the clown, Fiorello is...
Italian.
An Italian goon, and Otis is, like, the mastermind with
smooth,
the big
fast
mustache.
talker.
Yeah.
Cut to a ship!
This is where I was like, where does this take place? They are boarding a ship. Rosa and Gottlieb and Rodolfo are all boarding a ship for America. They're going to America to join Gottlieb's New York Opera Company. So where have they been this whole time? They are crossing the ocean.
Guess is Italy. It could also be the UK. I don't know for sure, but it's somewhere in Europe.
Every single actor has an American accent,
Yes,
except
they do.
for Gottlieb, who is vaguely German, and Fiorello, who is debatably Italian.
So we are at the ship at the docks. Otis is there. He's carrying Madame Claypool's bags up the ramp into the ship. Rosa and Ricky are saying goodbye on the docks. At this point, Gottlieb comes up and Rosa introduces Ricky and says, he's a wonderful singer. You should have him come with us. Gottlieb recognizes his last name and he's like, oh, that's the guy that Otis just signed, and started laughing.
I will point out, I did not put this together until just now.
Uh-huh.
Otis works for the opera company.
Does he?
Yeah, because remember they're scraping his name off the door.
I thought he only worked for Claypool.
I think he was working Claypool
while working
for
at
the while working for the opera company. Getting a donation for the opera company, but also like, maybe I can marry this rich widow.
Fair enough. Cool. I didn't get that until exactly this moment.
Because that's why he's on the ship with Claypool.
Right.
They're going back to New York together.
Yes.
He works for an opera company. He doesn't like opera.
Yeah, no.
But he's got his own agenda. So Laspari comes up to Ricky, Rosa, and Gottlieb on the dock, and Laspari separates Rosa from Ricky and kind of pushes her onto the boat. Ricky is left alone on the pier. The crowd on the boat asks Laspari to sing a farewell song, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I have a touch of laryngitis. And so the crowd's like, all right, fine, Rosa, can you do it? And he to himself, he's like, I don't sing for free. She doesn't want to, but she sees Ricky on the dock and thus launches into song.
Yes, so this is the song Alone, which is the most famous song from this movie.
Mm-hmm.
She basically sings it to him on the dock, and he starts to climb over some stuff so he can get closer to the boat, and he ends up singing his own verse with her in his lovely tenor voice.
This is when I was like, it's the fucking guy from Showboat.
Yeah.
I was like, I know this voice.
And then Rosa runs over to Gottlieb, and this is when she's like, you hear him sing, you should take him with us. And he's like, he does have a nice voice, but maybe when he has a better reputation later on.
Rosa in this moment is like, this is a networking moment.
I know.
This film is shockingly good quality for being almost 90 years old.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of like what Babes in Toyland was like quality-wise.
Yikes.
Actually, no, that was
only a few years earlier.
This was like crystal clear. Suddenly, Captain calls, last call, all visitors must go ashore. Don't be on this boat unless you have a ticket.
Yep.
Fiorello and Tommaso are on the boat at this point. Poor Ricky is still singing at this point.
Yeah, he's still working his wares.
Fiorello and Tommaso say goodbye to Rosa. The musicians have to leave, so it's just like,
they're
just walking down the gangplank.
While still playing to accompany Ricky.
Yeah. We cut to the interior. The boat has left. Driftwood is on the boat. He's in the hallway. He sees a porter with a massive trunk, like huge,
larger
trunk.
than life trunk.
And he's like, "Hey, that's mine." And he hops on it. He essentially rides it to take him to his room. This is some great physical comedy.
Oh man,
chef's kiss.
He sees several things on his ride to his room. So he sees 3 men with ridiculous beards, which come back. Go into a room, and he clocks that and is like, don't know what just happened there. Then he goes past Gottlieb's room, and Gottlieb is there, like, primping his beard. Then he goes by a room, and he hears crying, and he goes inside, and it's Rosa, and so she's upset, and she says that she's homesick. Obviously, she's sad that she's had to leave Ricky. So he's like, oh, I actually have a letter for you from him, and it says, Dearest, comma, I love you, period, Ricardo. Loquacious he is not! So anyway, so he leaves, and then he passes by Claypool's suite, not a room. It's like several.
Like so many rooms. Oh yeah, because she has $126 million.
Yeah, 160. Well, I guess
that's it. 100.
now it's 120 56. Now that she's given $4 million of that,
To the
ridiculous.
opera company.
He teases/harasses her. It's unclear their relationship at this point. But basically he says that he wants to meet her in about 10 minutes to talk about something in his room.
Business.
And at first she says no, and then he's like, okay, and then he just starts loudly singing opera, and she's like, alright, if you shut up, I will meet you in 10 minutes. And so he leaves and goes to his room. Do you want to describe his room?
Yeah, his room is the size of a closet. He got the tiniest room. It's because Gottlieb picked it out for him.
Mhm.
This trunk, the porter deposits the trunk, pushes it inside, and there is no room for Otis to be in this.
He can't
in this
even
room,
get
but
through
he's
the
able to,
door.
like,
He has
No,
to
he gets-
shimmy
he's
his
like-
way through.
shimmy through, closes the door, opens the trunk. Surprise! Fiorello and Ricky are inside the trunk, and Otis
God.
did not put them there.
No, he's like, I don't remember packing you.
They stowed away in his massive luggage. Tommaso is also there in a drawer. He is asleep, quote unquote, from Fiorello. He's got insomnia. He's trying to sleep it off. So there are 4 big men in this tiny, tiny room.
Oh my god.
And Otis says, all right, you know what? We're pals. I won't rat you out, but you can't stay here.
Yeah.
And Fiorello says, well, we won't leave until we've eaten.
Yes.
Claypool is coming over in 10 minutes. So Otis is like, fine, I'll go find a steward. I'll get us some food.
Yeah.
And then comes... This scene is one of the most famous scenes from this film.
Yes.
Otis goes out into the hallway. He closes the door. So Ricky, Fiorello, and Tommaso are still in the room. He flags down a steward and he orders juice and...
Do you want the list of everything?
One second. He orders juice, eggs, roast beef, French pastry. But Fiorello keeps shouting out things that he wants from the door.
Yeah.
Like he can't hear Otis. And essentially just every time Otis moves on to a new section of the menu, Fiorello also goes, and also 2 hard-boiled eggs.
Yeah. And he's like,
So what is the final tally?
so the final tally. So they have 4 types of juice: tomato, orange, grape, and pineapple. 4 types of roast beef: rare, medium, well done, and overdone. 8 pieces of French pastry, and a total of 28 eggs, including
Yeah.
2 fried, 2 poached, 2 scrambled, 2 medium boiled, 19 hard boiled, and 1 duck egg.
It's because they kept being like, and 2 hard-boiled eggs.
Yeah. So then one of
Yeah,
those.
Fiorello is our goon.
I buy that.
I mean, they're all goons.
Literally
Wait,
every porter
sorry.
is our waiter. They're just trying. Everyone else in this scene.
No, I'm sorry. There are so many waiters in this film. You know who's a big waiter? The orchestra conductor. Every member of that opera company.
Oh my god.
Who's just trying to do their goddamn
That
job.
conductor. No, I will get on board with that conductor being our waiter, because that poor man. Anyway, we'll get there.
We're getting there. We're getting ahead of ourselves. All right. And then begins this insane scene where Otis sends the steward away. He goes back into the room. Just then, knock, 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 2 housekeeping girls come into the room. Tommaso was still asleep.
Like,
The
does
girls
not wake up.
shimmy into the room to, like, make up the bed. An engineer arrives to turn off the heat. A manicurist arrives.
Yep.
Then this massive, big, tall
Plumber's
man who's the
assistant.
engineer's assistant
Yeah.
comes in. A housekeeper comes in to mop up. A random girl comes in to use
Looking
the
for her
telephone,
Aunt Minnie.
and then all the eggs arrive. This room has so many people in it. It is just in this tiny, tiny room. It is just chaotic.
It's
Finally,
so funny.
Claypool arrives. She opens the door and just like the floodgates open, and everyone pours out of the room. Yeah, comical genius.
Yeah.
Loved every minute of it.
It was great. Later, it's the last night of this trip. There's a big fancy dinner, and the captain, I think it is, thanks these
Sure.
3 famous bearded people that we saw earlier. They're aviators coming in
They're
for
the greatest
journey.
aviators in the world.
Yeah, and Gottlieb is obviously trying to sort of move in on Claypool, like trying to flirt and figure it out, and like finds out that she has $8 million, which is $160 million today.
Yeah, she's talking about how my husband died 3 years ago, and Gottlieb's like leaning in and like, and he left you all alone
All alone.
with $8 million.
Yes. Sorry, I
Dirk
turned
was
into
like, hey,
riffraff for a second.
yes. Otis is like, hey, I was the fortune hunter here first.
Yeah.
Claypool mentions that she's glad Otis is here without those 2 buffoons from the opera house, meaning Tommaso and Fiorello.
Yes.
And like, haha, little did you know.
Little did you know.
Simultaneously, Tommaso, Fiorello, and Ricky sneak out of Otis's room to get food. They know they'll get deported if they're caught.
Oh wait, there was one.
Very hungry.
There was one moment where Laspari is like tells Rosa that he's like the best singer in the world and that he loves her, and Otis sort of helps
laying it on thick.
pull her away from that. And Otis tells Rosa that his favorite singer is Riccardo Baroni, and Rosa wonders where he is now. Cut to him sneaking out of that giant suitcase.
Out of that room. Ricky, I almost called him Ricardo. Ricky and Tommaso and Fiorello. I said Ricky and the two goons.
Yeah.
Ricky, Tommaso, and Fiorello sneak out onto the main deck.
Mm-hmm.
There is like all the working class people of the boat are having this like big party buffet. They get in line. They get so much food.
An obscene
They're so
amount
happy.
of food.
And they get to eat. And there's just this like loud old Italian opera music, singing, dancing ensemble in the back. Like everyone's having a good time. It's like
it's a party.
Party, but they're on a boat.
Yeah.
They actually get to eat the food.
Yes.
They all feel so much better. Ricky says he's so happy he could sing.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you want to take it away?
So we get this big
Actually,
number.
no, I'm sorry. Hold on.
This is the harp?
Before I give it to you.
Okay.
This is the harp bit. So Ricky is so happy he could sing. They are seated by a couple musicians, a couple instruments. There's an upright piano and there is a harp. At this point, Tommaso has just been an agent of chaos this entire time. So when Tommaso sits down at the harp,
did you get nervous?
my hackles raise. And there are musicians who are in line at the buffet, and they see Tommaso sit down at the harp. They're like, hey, what are you doing?
They're
Get
like,
the fuck
do
away
not.
from that. The crowd is like, let him perform. And in my brain, I'm like, that is an expensive instrument. You
Big-ass
get away
fucking
from
harp.
that.
Absolutely not.
There is gold leaf on it. Oh,
Uh-huh.
my God. All right, take it away.
All right, so the crowd wants them all to play. So Ricky starts to sing the song Così Cosa, and a dance breaks out. It's Italian. It's honestly like the French comme ci comme ça, so it's like, it's the same thing where it's like, how are you feeling? Comme ci comme ça. It's like, not yes, not no, just sort of like, middling, going all right, Hakuna Matata,
Fun.
you know.
It's a fun, like, group dance number, very
Yeah.
like square
There's like
dancing.
some German
like-
Lederhosen. I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
But anyway, the song ends and everyone cheers.
I have a gripe before we move on. One of the lyrics is like, it's a wonderful word, yada yada yada. Così cosa is two words.
Yep. Correct. So the song ends, everyone cheers, and then Fiorello sits down and starts to play the piano. And he's really good. From what I could tell, he was actually playing. And it wasn't dubbed, or it was dubbed after, but like, he was actually playing, the fingers matched up with the notes. And honestly, it was, I've never seen a comedy piano piece in which the act of playing the piano was funny, but he was very funny. The song he was playing was All I Do Is Dream of You, which I know from Singin' in the Rain, which is one of the songs that she sings, which is funny because it's also based in the 1930s. And so it's just like a nice...
Was it a popular song at the time?
I think so, yeah.
All I do, the
Dream
whole
they
thing
do
is
is dream of
you.
you. Yeah. So then Tommaso goes to the piano and he does this big bit. And honestly, I found this to be the funniest bit. And I don't know if it was just because there were children laughing in the background. And so like when other people laugh, it's easier for you to laugh. But he just messes around with the piano. He like pretends to smash his fingers and like shakes his hands, and that's supposed to be playing, and it's all very silly and very funny.
Good physical comedy.
It is.
I see your point of like, because I am hearing laughter, am I more willing to accept it as funny?
Yeah.
I honestly just appreciated that one single thing was happening at this one moment, and I didn't have to like write down.
I loved this song because it was long and it gave me a chance to catch up on my notes.
Yeah, and also I'm just like, I could sit and I could enjoy it.
Yes, absolutely.
These were long bits. Fiorello's bit at the piano and Tommaso's bit at the piano were long.
And then, and I'll throw it back to you, because Tommaso sits down at the harp.
Tommaso sat down at the harp. He sat down on the correct side.
Good.
I'm looking at you, Kiss Me Kate. Then he actually started to play, and I was like, oh, thank God. The crowd is just as shocked as I was at how good he is. He's fantastic.
Yeah? Okay,
He's
good.
Fantastic. He at one point whistles a different tune while he is playing. That's really
so
fucking hard. And it was great, and I had no notes, and I
I'm
could
so
have watched
glad.
all day.
'Cause
Also,
I wrote in all caps, "Is this good harping?" And I knew that I was going to get an answer at the end. So that happens.
Then, oh no!
Oh,
Rodolfo comes out onto the upper balcony that's looking over this, and he sees Tommaso. Tommaso sees him. Rodolfo turns to the boat police.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, there's stowaways! And Fiorello, Tommaso, and Ricky try to escape.
But cannot.
They are all caught, and they are stuck in boat jail.
Boat jail! In boat jail, Tommaso has a harmonica, or whatever that was, and is playing on that, and Fiorello gets frustrated.
Understandably so.
Very understandably, and throws it out of the porthole. Now, Tommaso goes to try and get it, but a huge gush of water comes in, soaks the entire room. But Tommaso is like half out of this porthole, and he spots a rope hanging, and Otis, who is smoking out of his own porthole. And so they're like, oh shit.
He's like a row up.
So what we can do is grab this rope, climb up it, and try and get into Otis's room so we're no longer in boat jail. So this kind of works. So they sent Tommaso out first. They're like, you go first to see if it's safe. And so they throw him out, and he's grabbing on. Poor Tommaso. He gets dunked, but then somehow the rope gets hauled up, so he's all the way at the top. And then he, shimmies down and isn't able to get into Otis's room, but he is able to get into the aviator's room. And thus, we see my favorite shot in this whole damn movie. I had to pause. I was laughing so hard, which is these three grown-ass men in one bed with the covers up to their chins and their beards over top of the covers, just in the rigor mortis of sleep. It was so
have ZZ Top
funny.
beards.
Oh my god, I didn't know what to do. Anyway, go ahead.
So Tommaso's able to finagle his way through the window into their cabin, and he gets an idea, and he picks up some scissors and goes to trim their beards. Fade to black, cut to New York City, huge ticker tape parade.
Yeah.
A bunch of fancy city officials come on board, and they're there to meet the aeronauts. This ticker tape parade is for these aeronauts.
Aviators.
Aviators, aeronauts.
Same thing, yeah.
They cut to inside the cabin. The real aviators have been shaved, gagged, and tied to the bed.
These people come to, go and get the aviators because they're not there yet, and so Otis sort of cuts in and is like, oh, well, I'll take you to their cabin and I'll translate. And so he's the one who goes into the room and
because they don't
sees them
speak
all,
English.
Tied up. And he's like,
And Ricky, Fiorello, and Tommaso are disguised as the aviators.
So he brings out these three with the fake beards glued onto their faces, and they get invited to City Hall. So we cut to City Hall with the mayor.
Of New York City!
New York City! He does a big mayor speech, and then asks each of them to tell some stories about their exploits as aviators. And Fiorello tells an insane story, which makes no sense. And when it's done, Otis turns to him and is like, okay, I'll start arranging your bail.
The mayor then turns to Tommaso and be like, all right, your turn for a speech. Tommaso is mute. Tommaso does not speak in this film, and decides the best way to get out of this is there's a little table in front of him with a water pitcher and several glasses, and he just keeps drinking water, being like, all right, I did it. And I think he drinks 6 glasses of water.
God.
At this point, someone who we will learn later is the police chief, his name is Henderson, shouts from the crowd on stage, being like, I think they're phonies!
Because the water has loosened the glue on his beard.
Oh, is that why?
So it's starting to come off, and that's why he's like, something's weird with the beard, because it is coming off, and he's trying to push it back on.
Oh, I missed that. At this point, Otis turns to the three in disguise and babbles gibberish at them, then turns to this police chief and goes now you've insulted them, and they storm off.
Except for Tommaso.
The mayor chastises the police chief. The police chief turns to Tommaso to apologize. Tommaso hugs him. Tommaso's beard fully transfers to the police chief. Oh no, they've been caught.
Yes.
Tommaso runs away. He is able to escape. Cut to the next day in a hotel or apartment, uncertain.
Yeah, one of the two.
We are in
Otis's room.
Suite. He is reading the newspaper. They are on the front page of the paper, a photo of Otis and then Fiorello, Ricky, and Tommaso still in disguise. And the headline is 3 stowaways who fooled Manhattan, or something like that. And they're actively being searched for by the police.
Then there's a bit with Tommaso and breakfast. It's fine.
I thought there was going to be a callback to it later, and then there wasn't.
Yeah. Then there's a knock on the door, and so the stowaways go to hide, and enter the police chief,
Henderson,
who accused them of being frauds. he, is looking around. He's like, oh, well, why are there 4 places for breakfast? Why are there 4 beds in the other room? And then there's a big ol' switcheroo, and they bamboozle him.
They do. That's a really great way to put it. I will try to explain it very clearly.
Please.
There are 2 rooms in this suite. They are linked by a balcony. Every time Henderson, the police chief, is in one room, there are 3 stowaways move things from one room to the other. They continue to baffle him. They managed to take 3 of the 4 beds out of the bedroom into the living room. Every time Henderson comes in, he's like, what am I going crazy? There weren't 3 beds in here. And Otis is like, man, I guess you're crazy. He ultimately, panic flees from this room.
It's too much.
They are not caught. They are not arrested.
Yes. Cut to Rosa.
Well, we are in the same building. Ricky, one of our stowaways, has climbed down the fire escape to another room where Rosa is practicing at the piano. Ricky comes in through the window and surprises her. Last time this woman saw him, he was on a pier somewhere in Europe, so you can imagine her surprise.
So they embrace, and she calls him a fool, and they start trying to think of a way he can stay without going to jail or being deported. Suddenly there's a knock on the door, and it's Rodolfo, and so Ricky goes to hide in the bedroom. Rosa lets, Ricardo and Rodolfo. It's killing me. Rosa, Ricardo, Rodolfo. It's all awful.
It's all ours.
Rosa lets Rodolfo in and is trying to, get rid of him, but this guy cannot take a hint.
He doesn't want to take a hint.
No, it's like every time I ask you to have dinner with me or go out with me, you say you're busy and you say no. Why do you do that? It's like, okay.
So the room. He also guilts her. He's like, I'm the one that's responsible for you coming to America.
Yes.
And he gets a little handsy with her.
Yep.
He kind of puts his hands around
That's
her
what
waist.
I said getting handsy.
Just then, big hero Ricky comes in and stops Rodolfo.
Mm-hmm. And Rodolfo makes a comment about maybe them
I
sleeping
see.
together.
Yeah.
And Ricky takes offense at this and punches him with the worst period punch ever. Oh my god.
I went back and watched it 3 times to understand what had happened.
This was on par with the awful punch in Babes in Toyland. I didn't know what to do. There was no body movement. It was only from the shoulder, and there was no wrist move. It was just... Anyway, he punches him, and Rodolfo is like, you haven't heard the end of this, and then walks out.
You haven't seen the last of me.
That's the one.
Otis stops at the theater. It's opening night in New York. Everyone from the stagehands to the chorus greets him enthusiastically. The elevator guy greets him enthusiastically. He gets up to the 4th floor and discovers that a worker is scraping his name off of his office door. This is why I was like, oh, he works there.
Yeah, no, that's smart. I didn't make that connection.
Otis is like, what the fuck? And apparently Mr. Gottlieb has ordered this, and Otis storms into Gottlieb's office to discover Gottlieb is in the middle of a meeting with Mrs. Claypool, Henderson, that police chief, and then is it Rodolfo?
Yeah.
Who's this other dude?
Yeah.
Otis Rodolfo. I didn't recognize him. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I've never seen him sitting down. I don't know.
Sure. So he then gets fired, basically, for associating with Tommaso and Fiorello, because Miss Claypool is like, I told you that if you continue to associate them, then our association would be finished. And so he's been fired, and Gottlieb seems totally fine with this, and he goes to leave by the elevator, but the operator stops him and was like, no, this is only for the people who work here. You can take the stairs, and then kicks him down 4 flights of stairs.
4 flights of stairs!
This fall down the stairs was impressive in terms of keeping safety. I don't know if you watched, but the way that he kept his body moving and his head tucked and made sure that everything hit on muscle groups, it was actually pretty well done.
That stunt double knew what he was doing. Cut to a park. All 4 men, that being Otis, Fiorello, Ricky, and Tommaso, are
sitting on the tiniest park bench.
Tiniest little park bench, sad. Rosa comes up. Tommaso sees her first. We find out that Laspari has gotten Rosa fired and won't let her sing tonight in the opening night. So they hatch a plan.
Yes. Cut to opening night. Gottlieb walks into his office, and all 4 of the guys are sitting in there drinking and smoking his cigars. He tries to throw them out, and he's like, I'm gonna call the police, but they're like, listen, we will give ourselves up to the police if you let Rosa sing tonight. And he's like, absolutely not.
It's a terrible, terrible bet.
Yeah, so they bonk him on the head.
Knock him out completely.
Cut to downstairs.
Tommaso and Fiorello sneak downstairs and they add the sheet music for Take Me Out to the Ballgame to the scores of the musicians.
But it's not like just the notes. Like, it's like just a page insert that says Take Me Out to the Ballgame on top. Like, the musicians, whenever they're playing the score, won't be like, what is this doing in here? Like,
if I was playing in that orchestra, I would have been like, what the fuck is this? Like, drop it on the floor.
Yeah, move on.
That's not the next page of this Verdi opera.
We have rehearsed. I know what's coming next.
You know what I'm not going to do on opening night of an opera? Play something I've never rehearsed.
Anyway, so they put that music in there, like, that's gonna work. So cut to the opera box.
Otis joins Mrs. Claypool in Gottlieb's box. She's like, where's Gottlieb? And he was like, oh, he couldn't make it. He gave me his ticket instead.
Yeah.
Cut to Gottlieb's office. Gottlieb, having woken up, is just in his long underwear, bursts into his office and calls the police.
Yes. So then a man comes into the opera box asking where Mr. Gottlieb is, because he normally gives a big speech before opening night. And Miss Claypool is like, oh, I can't do it. So Otis, of course, stands up and gives a speech. It's like, ladies and gentlemen. And then does this weird speech. It's very silly, honestly. It's not really important.
The important thing is he's being a distraction because meanwhile, Tommaso and Fiorello have joined the orchestra. I thought as performers, they are both conductors and musicians. They just cause mayhem.
Yes, Tommaso sneaks in with a trombone, which is objectively the funniest instrument.
But he also sword fights with a violin bow with a bunch of violinists.
Yeah.
Like,
this poor conductor who's just trying to get him to put down the fucking trombone and is like waving at him with the conductor's baton, and that's what turns into the sword fight with he grabs someone else's like bow, and it's just ridiculous.
Meanwhile, Gottlieb is stalking around backstage. He goes to his box, sees Otis. Otis escapes by climbing out the exterior of the box.
Yes, with a Tarzan yell.
Yeah. Yes, I forgot to write that down. Just an agent of chaos.
Yeah,
the
truly.
overture starts. Gottlieb is like, fuck, I didn't give my speech. And he sees Tommaso in the orchestra and is aghast at what is about to happen.
And then suddenly the music changes into Take Me Out to the Ballgame. At this point, Tommaso stands up and starts throwing a baseball back and forth with Fiorello.
At one point, Fiorello throws a baseball to Tommaso, and Tommaso hits it with a violin as if the violin was a bat. My hackles, they were raised.
They were aroused. Just like, how
that violin
dare you? It's so expensive.
Fiorello and Tommaso escape in this pandemonium to under the stage. Gottlieb finds them there, but they once again bonk him on the head. This time they stick him in a supply closet.
I thought it was a boiler room. Either way, it's like a room in the bottom of the basement.
Yeah. We very quickly see Rosa and Ricky up in her dressing room, and they hear the opera starting, and Rosa's sad. She's like, oh, the opera's starting. That means they didn't succeed.
Yeah.
And Ricky comforts her.
Yes, so cut back to Gottlieb. Someone hears him yelling from that room in the basement and comes and lets him out. And so he's like, oh, I have to find them. And everyone is always like, what? And he gets upset because no one knows what he's talking about. He goes up and he hears Otis's voice in the audience. And so he sends some men to go and find them.
Ushers to
go and find them.
Because the police aren't here yet.
Yeah, he sees Tommaso and Fiorello dressed as chorus members on stage. Honestly, at this point, stop the show. Like, there's so many points in the last 20 minutes of this movie where I'm just like, guys, just stop the show.
Stop the show.
And say, we have people here that are not supposed to be here that need to be arrested. We're so sorry. Let's grab those roll fast, and then we can go on with the show. But no.
Listen, you're looking for logic in a Marx Brothers movie.
That's fair, that's my fault.
I do want to point out, Tommaso and Fiorello are just as peasant women in the chorus. Gottlieb sees them. Just then, the police arrive with Henderson, the police chief. They're looking for Gottlieb because Gottlieb called them.
Yes.
Gottlieb is backstage again. He tries to
with
stop...
a frying pan.
Oh, yeah. He's like leaning around the corner of some scenery trying to bonk Fiorello on the head. He's holding a frying pan prop because Fiorello is dancing with the chorus members as the show
continues.
Requests. Gottlieb has put on Otis's clothes because Otis took Gottlieb's clothes.
Yep.
Inspector Henderson sees the back of Gottlieb and thinks he's
Otis.
So he bonks him on the head with a pan. Then Tommaso bonks Henderson on the head with a pan. So both Henderson and Gottlieb have been bonked in the head and are knocked out.
It's so
Tommaso
funny.
runs back on stage and just starts causing mayhem. Rodolfo's in costume off stage. He goes like, I can't go on. This is ridiculous.
Yes.
So he won't go on stage to perform. Gottlieb and Henderson, our police chief, now sneak onto stage, also dressed as peasant women. Tommaso sees them coming, recognizes them, and he escapes by climbing up the set
scrim.
dressing scrim. He leaps onto the pulley ropes and causes many scrims to rise and fall.
There's a whole wild sequence of like trapeze tricks that they do that quote unquote cause all of these different scrims to like raise and lower while Rodolfo is doing his big solo.
We went from Rodolfo not wanting to go on stage to Rodolfo going on stage and starting the first of his big songs.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the scrims are rising and falling. This opera is set in like Renaissance Italy, and we're getting scrims of like
Battleships,
steam engines, and battleships.
So silly. One of them drops directly in front of Rodolfo while he's singing.
He is getting so mad, but he is still singing.
Yep.
At this point, so many police people are also climbing the ropes, trying to stop Tommaso, who is swinging like Tarzan.
Yep. He also at one point fully destroys a scrim, and that was another Hackles moment where I was like, that is so expensive to replace.
Once he rips this huge rip in the scrim, he lands on the stage, this is Tommaso, and he's trapped in between Gottlieb and Henderson, and manages to just climb vertically straight back up.
Wild. Insane. Not physically possible.
I do not know how they shot that.
He was on ropes. He had to be.
He sees a light board on the stage right side, and he swings over and does what any good clown does and pushes all the buttons.
So, big blackout.
Yeah, and we hear in the blackout a, hey, what are you doing?
And then like
And and gasp, Laspari has disappeared.
The lights turn back on, and no one knows where he is. We see that he's in like a crate that has been raised above the stage, and he's been tied up and gagged.
Just fully hogtied.
Yes. So then Gottlieb is like panicked. He's like, what do? I don't have a tenor. In walks Rosa and Ricky, and he's like, you sing. And so he goes over, and Ricky's like, I'll do it, but only if you put Rosa back in the show. He's like, fuck it, yeah, put on costumes. Don't hug now, go! And so...
Hang on, the logic of Ricky being like, well, I've only rehearsed this with Rosa.
So I can only do it with her.
Yeah, this is some no business, like, show business bullshit, where, like, you can... The other actor who has done the first half of this show...
Knows what they're doing.
This part. Justice for that unnamed
Justice
soprano.
for understudies.
Yeah, Justice for understudy, because it was supposed to be Rosa's show. So this understudy thought she was getting, like, her big break. And it's just had to deal with this chaos of a first half of the show, and they get yoinked for the second half.
Can you imagine her going home to, like, a roommate and just being, and they're like, oh my god, it was your first show, and she'll be like, I honestly cannot even describe to you what just happened.
Regardless, Gottlieb relents. Rosa and Ricky run to get into costume. We start the show again. Rosa singing this dramatic aria in Italian.
Yeah, big applause.
Ricky singing. We see Fiorello and Otis up in the rafters with a hogtied Laspari.
Whenever they finish their song, everyone applauds, including Tommaso, which means that the thing that they're holding
the rope that was
in,
holding fully falls to the ground.
So they all go to the floor and they're like, Laspari, where have you been? And all of the police are also there, so they go to arrest everyone. Laspari at this point is like, because everyone in the audience is like on their feet, standing ovation, clapping, asking for an encore from Ricky and Rosa. And Laspari is like, I got this, I'll give them an encore they'll never forget, and walked on stage, and people started like throwing fruit at him.
They boo at him.
They threw an apple at him. Great, amazing. He
storms off stage, like, I've never been treated so poorly in my life.
Yes.
The audience is still clamoring for an encore, and Gottlieb's like, Ricky, Rosa, go back out there. And Ricky's like, I can't. If they're getting arrested, I need to get arrested. Otis steps in and negotiates for Ricky because he's Ricky's agent.
Yeah.
And Gottlieb's like, fine, drop the charges. Please, for the love of God, I will deal with the consequences of all of these idiots. Go out there and do the encore. And Ricky and Rosa go out, they perform the encore, and there's some contract hijinks between Otis
like a
and
callback to
Gottlieb.
ripping up the contract.
To ripping it up.
Yeah. The end!
And that's A Night at the Opera.
It is A Night at
from
the Opera.
1935. Oh my god. Okay.
Anna, whenever I watched Hocus Pocus, I asked you, how many songs does it take to make a musical? And I wanted to bring that back up for this one. Because besides the opera, there's only 2 songs. So how many songs does it take to consider it a movie with music? Or a musical? Is it any movie with a song in it in which a character sings?
I mean, I'm certainly not a law-making, rule-making person. I
Anna,
would say
we're making
more
laws
than
right
one.
now.
I say more than one,
Okay.
then. If it has more than one spontaneous musical song, it is a musical.
Okay. Cool. Okay. I was just curious
Hot
because,
take.
like, with this one, besides the opera, there were only the 2 songs, which was Alone and then the Così Cosa.
Right.
That was it.
Yeah, I guess. I see what you're saying,
Yeah.
but regardless, it was a movie.
It was a movie with music, yeah. I was just curious, like, sort of what you thought in terms of, like, how many songs does it need to be a musical or a movie with music? So, what did you think of this movie?
I liked it. I had never seen a Marx Brothers film before. Again, shame all around. I would give it like a 7.
Yeah, okay. I would give it like a 6 or a 6.5. And again, I think it's like if I was in an audience of people that were willing to laugh with this, I think I would have enjoyed it a little bit more and I would have laughed more, but I was like in my room with a headset, and so while I might have exhaled through my nose, the pauses that they put into the movie, and this is something that I think I complained about with another sort of 30s movie, the pauses that they put in for audience laughter make sense when you're on a stage, but don't make sense when they're in a movie anymore, because movies now are a personal experience, whereas whenever the movies were released then, it was still a communal experience like theater is, and so they put in pauses for things like a stage play.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you want to do some dramaturgy?
Drinks and dramaturgy?
Cheers.
You made it this far and you'd like to join us, grab a drink.
Yeah.
All right, this was directed by Samuel Grosvenor? Samuel Grosvenor Wood.
Sam Wood.
An American film director and producer. Big Hollywood hits. Night at the Opera, obviously. Other films include A Day at the Races, For Whom the Bell Tolls, Our Town, and Pride of Yankees.
Wow.
And his uncredited work directing parts of Gone with the Wind.
Ooh.
Because the director took like a 2-3 week like leave of absence for exhaustion, and he stepped in for a couple of those parts.
Fair. I bet filming Gone with the Wind was exhausting.
The cinematographer was Merritt B. Gerstad, who is an American cinematographer of silent and early sound films. And that's all I have for him.
Nice. For the writer, this went through several different writers.
Yeah?
So the film's first screenwriter was James Kevin McGinnis, who concocted a plot based on Harpo Marx being the world's greatest tenor who never sings or speaks throughout the film. Irving Thalberg, though, rejected the idea, and McGinnis became the first in a long string of screenwriters to be dismissed from this film. So then there was Bert Kalmer and Harry Ruby, but Groucho Marx said he was so appalled by an early draft of the script written by them that he screamed, "Why fuck around with second-rate talent? Get Kaufman and Ryskin to write the screenplay." So
it seems like Groucho kind of had the same kind of creative influence at this point that our 2 stars of Babes in Toyland did.
yeah, absolutely. So Ryskin was an American dramatist, lyricist, and writer of theatrical productions and motion pictures. George Kaufman was a playwright, theater director, producer, humorist, and drama critic. In addition to comedies and political satire, he wrote several musicals for the Marx Brothers and others. He won the Pulitzer Prize for drama for the musical Of Thee I Sing, and he won for the play You Can't Take It With You, and he also won the Tony Award for Best Director in the 1951 musical Guys and Dolls. So he directed the stage production of Guys and Dolls.
Oh,
Kaufman was one of the writers who excelled in writing intelligent nonsense for Groucho Marx, a process that was collaborative given Groucho's skills at expanding on scripted material. Now, the screenplay, there was a rejected plot for the film that was circulated for more than 3 decades, and this is sort of a legend and sort of a popular industry tale. So the plot featured Groucho Marx as a producer plotting to stage the worst opera in history so that the show would close quickly. The backers he had soaked for 10 times the production costs would assume they had lost their money and Groucho could escape to South America with sizable profits, but his plans were thwarted when the opera becomes a huge hit and he's left owing 10 times what the show actually brings in. Groucho loved the idea, but producer Irving Thalberg nixed it. He explained that he didn't want a funny story, but a simple plot that the Marx Brothers could use as a springboard for their comic ideas. The basis of this plot floated around both Hollywood and Broadway for many years before Mel Brooks filmed a version of the plot with his breakout hit, The Producers, in 1967. I just thought that it was interesting that that plot was originally going to be this and was a Marx Brothers movie, and then it got turned into the Mel Brooks, The Producers.
Literally, as you were describing it, I was like, that you're just describing the plot of The Producers.
Absolutely. And then the only other thing for the writing of the script, so screenwriter Al Boasberg was brought on to punch up some of the jokes and to add some new scenes into the film. His most notable contribution is the now famous stateroom scene. However, producer Irving Thalberg frequently sort of hounded him to complete his material, much to his annoyance. So finally, he called Thalberg to let him know that the material was ready and that he could come and get the script in his office. So Thalberg and the Marx Brothers all show up in Boasberg's office, and they found no script and no Boasberg, and they searched through the office trying to find this script, and they were about to give up when Groucho happened to look up and found the script ripped to shreds and nailed to the ceiling. According to Groucho, it took them hours to piece it back together, but by the time they did, they were very pleased with the result.
That's so funny, because of all the scenes in this film, it is one of the most well-known.
Ridiculous. Music and lyrics. Most of the music in this that wasn't from the opera, because they did use songs from an actual opera, was Herbert Pope Stotthart. He was a songwriter, arranger, conductor, composer, and he was nominated for 12 Academy Awards, winning Best Original Score for The Wizard of Oz.
Wow!
Yeah, which we're going to get to in a couple months. Very excited. While the movie was being edited for length, Alan Jones' song alone was almost cut, and he ended up having to plead his case to the producer, who replied, you know, the Marx Brothers, they know comedy, and you know songs, so I'll keep it in. And it went on to become the hit from the show. Both Kitty Carlisle, who played Rosa, and Alan Jones, who played Ricky, were both trained in operatic singing and provided their own singing voices in the film. Walter Wolfe King, who was Rodolfo, was a trained baritone, but he portrayed a tenor in the film, so his singing was dubbed.
Really?
Yes. So that was not him singing.
So he was a good singer.
He is a good singer, and he is
wasn't a
classically
tenor.
trained as an opera singer, but he is a baritone.
That's stupid.
So I just have a little bit about the Marx Brothers, because I had a lot about other stuff, so I didn't go too deep. But the Marx Brothers were an American family comedy act that was successful in vaudeville, on Broadway, and in motion pictures from 1905 to 1949. They are widely considered by critics, scholars, and fans to be among the greatest and most influential comedians of the 20th century. The core of the act was the 3 elder brothers, Chico, Harpo, and Groucho, each of whom developed a highly distinctive stage persona. After the group essentially disbanded in 1950, Groucho went on to a successful second career in television, while Harpo and Chico appeared less prominently. The 2 youngest brothers, Gummo and Zeppo, never developed their stage characters to the same extent as the older 3, and both left acting to pursue business careers, at which they were very successful, and for a time ran a large theatrical agency through which they represented their brothers and others. Last little bit, in the 1974 Academy Awards telecast, Jack Lemmon presented Groucho with an honorary Academy Award to a standing ovation. The award was also on behalf of Harpo, Chico, and Zeppo. It was one of Groucho's final major public appearances. That's the Marx Brothers.
Aww. So this was one of MGM's biggest hits of the 1935 box office. It's got a 97 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yes, it does.
The first preview of the finished film was a disaster with hardly a laugh, as was the second. Thalberg and Kaufman spent days in the editing room adjusting the timing to match the rhythm of a stage performance. 9 minutes was cut from the running time, and the result was a hit. You want to talk about some singing and dancing?
Singing?
It's not a musical.
It is a movie with music.
A movie with music.
They were classically trained opera singers, and it did show. Yeah, I mean, it was good. It was very much of its time.
Have you seen much opera?
No. I think I've only ever seen La Boheme.
Neither have I. I've only seen Turandot.
Yeah.
I know much more about musical theater than I know about opera, so I'm not going to sit here and say, like, oh, this was good or this was bad opera. Stylistically, it was very of the time, and 8 of the 10 songs in this film were opera songs. And the 2 songs that were not ripped from an opera were very operatic in presentation.
Yes, agreed.
I don't have anything for dancing in that there was only really dancing on the boat. Yeah. I will include physical comedy in our dancing category for this film.
That's fair.
Because what we lacked in dancing, we made up for in just like physical comedy.
Tommaso's bit at the piano with like playing with the stool and smashing his fingers and all of that, it was just all very funny and very well done.
And Groucho falling down the stairs.
Great physicality.
Probably a stunt double, but phenomenal physicality. So what we lacked in dancing, we made up for in that.
Yes. What was your gripe?
Kosi kosa is 2 words. It's 2 words.
Fair enough. Yeah, I already talked about my gripe. My gripe is just that we consume movies differently now, and so how it was set up was not appropriate for modern audiences.
Agreed.
What's your giggle?
My giggle moment of joy is Tommaso, Harpo Marx, playing the harp really well.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, my whole giggle moment of joy was the whole Kosi Kosa sequence. I really enjoyed the whole thing. I loved the big group dance number. I loved the swishy skirts. I loved the piano solo. I loved the harp solo. Just that whole sequence. Though, I will say, one additional tiny gripe. When you have had a whole bunch of food, you know what you don't want to do? Sing. So...
That's true. He's like, I'm so happy I could sing.
Like,
I'm like, you just ate your body weight.
You just ate your body weight. Your diaphragm is already compressed. You cannot sing.
That's so funny. I didn't think about that.
All right, Anna, do you have fun facts?
I do. You took one of mine, but it's okay. So I have 2 now.
Okay, I have 2 as well. You go first.
All right, excellent. My first one I think you'll appreciate. Harpo Marx did many of his own stunts. Harpo played Tommaso, and he later said that was a silly thing for a 47-year-old not stuntman to have done.
Correct.
And then my other one is, I don't think you're going to know this one. So in the scene at City Hall where Tommaso, Ricky, and Fiorello are impersonating the 3 greatest aviators in the world, Otis turns to them and, like, speaks in what we think to be their own language. It's just gibberish. And actually, it's English. If played backwards, you can hear what they're saying, which is, this man is accusing you of being imposters. It was recorded normally, then reversed and dubbed over the scene in post.
How silly. How utterly silly.
Flip is a madman. Help us, save us.
Yeah, exactly. Both of mine have to do with the relationship between the Marx brothers and the director, which was contentious.
Do you have the milk bottle one?
Yes, I do. So, in reference to that, so Sam Wood was very sort of uptight, especially compared to the Marx brothers. So he had an ulcer.
Sam, you're on a first name basis with him.
Yeah. So he had an ulcer, so he started each day with a big glass of milk, and the brothers began to have it delivered to him in a baby bottle, a joke which Wood didn't really seem to get. And he also imposed a fine for being late to the set, which at first Groucho was in favor of, but then Chico and Harpo, in classic brother fashion, nailed their brother's garage door shut, making him the first to pay the $50 penalty. And then the 3 of them turned the penalty into a game and betted on who would be next fined, and kept, like, sort of upping the stakes until Sam Wood, the director, eventually was like, fuck it, we're not doing this anymore.
You're ruining it.
You're ruining it. And then my last fun fact is Sam Wood had the habit of doing a lot of takes and saying that he didn't know which take was right until end of day, and he was able to watch them all at once. So this was very exasperating for Groucho Marx, and after several attempts to have Groucho Marx read one of his lines in a specific manner, Wood ended up exclaiming, "I guess you just can't make an actor out of clay." To which Groucho Marx immediately replied, "Nor a director out of wood." Which is brutal.
This was a commercial success.
So, those are my 2 fun facts. Anna, do you have homework?
Yeah, I'm gonna link it in the show notes.
Okay.
I think everyone should watch the stateroom scene.
Okay.
Especially now that you know it was nailed to the ceiling.
Fair, absolutely. I have no homework this week, kids. Enjoy your weekend.
You set me up.
I did.
Now I'm the bad teacher. Gives you homework on the weekends.
Yeah.
Well, this comes out on Monday. Joke's on you.
Damn it.
That brings us to the close of this episode. If you are still with us, God bless you.
Cheers.
This has been 5678, a movie musical podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. If you would like to stick around for updates, you can follow us on social media at 5678, a movie musical podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Tune in for dramaturgical facts of current episodes and sneak peeks of upcoming episodes.
Oh, this next episode's gonna be a good one. And as a hint, an updated version of this movie is being released soon as well.
Oh, I'm so excited. Well, if you want to send us an email.
Oh, yes, we have an email, 5678 moviemusicalpodcast@gmail.com. We're also going to be having a website soon. We will let you know as soon as that is live and active.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Boy, oh boy.
If you're still here, thank you so much for tuning in. On whatever podcast streaming service you're joining us from, throw us into a star.
That's the one.
Leave us a review.
Write our epitaph.
Send us some stars, send us some reviews. Tell us you liked what you heard. Tell your friends about us. And that's all she wrote.
That's all she
have
wrote.
been Anna.
That's still Grace.
This is 5678, a movie musical podcast. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
5, 6, 7, 8.
There's no business like show business, like no business I know.